Immutable Opinion, I'm Asher Westropp-Evans, inviting you to prove me wrong. So let's talk some geopolitics. Look, I think it's fair to say that the US is a little distracted right now. But while in the last 4 years of US politics have felt like one long election cycle, with most of the nation fixated on the residents of a small white building, the rest of the world is moving forward, and doing so at a cracking pace. The current leader of this charge is our old mate China. So let's take a look at some of the latest developments coming out of the land of the Red Dragon, where these guys are moving ahead with their plans for a digital renminbi, a Chinese CBDC. So let's take a little run through of the latest developments. CBDC trials in China have crossed 3 million transactions between April and August in the cities of Shenzhen, Suzhou, and Jiang'an. During this time period, 1.1 billion renminbi, so that's about $162 million worth of transactions have been conducted. The project is enjoying positive progress and has already covered over 6,700 payment scenarios, as per recent remarks from the Deputy Governor of the People's Bank of China. These scenarios range from transportation, to ticketing, bills, and even payment for government services. However, the People's Bank of China maintains that so far their CBDC has solely covered microtransactions. So, piss poor effort really. However, on the flip side of that chart is the United States, whose latest comments on the matter of digital dollar come from Deputy Treasury Secretary Justin Muzinich, speaking to the Atlantic Council on October 7th, in which he summarized the US's latest developments on CBDCs as follows.
The Fed has a working group that is looking at this and studying it very carefully. So there's a lot of work going on behind the scenes. The short answer is there's been no decision yet.
Oh good, there's a lot of work, he says. Behind the scenes, he says, must be an absolute wonderland. I wish only that I could take a wee peep. But here in the land of in front of the scenes, it's still looking like a whole lot of nothing. But perhaps I'm being a little harsh here. China is, after all, the home of state capitalism and maintains an aggressive controlling interest in most of its nation's biggest companies. While the US, on the other hand, is a pioneer of independent capitalism. The entrepreneurial spirit was born in the wilds of North America, and by God, the next innovations in the financial world will come from these independent developers. So, where is this innovation coming from? Well, the Facebook-backed Libra project was all the rage in 2019 and made a major splash before a slew of congressional hearings and regulatory attention brought the project to its knees. But surely by now they must have been making some killer breakthroughs behind the scenes. I mean, we haven't been paying attention, most of us, so really, what have they been up to lately? Where is Libra headed at the moment? Okay, well, look, whichever nation develops and implements the first widely available CBDC is going to have an utterly enormous advantage. The network impacts of such a move could mean that whoever is on the scene first, with successful tech mind you, will reap the benefits of those who are tired of using cash-based or non-blockchain centric legacy systems. And to add this to the immense $8 trillion Belt and Road Initiative that China is building in nations around the world, and the US may face, for the first time since World War II, an actual competitor to the dollar's supremacy. This makes CBDC tech an imperative for US lawmakers to at least understand, if not implement. Because if nations around the world stop denominating their reserves in the good old greenback, the US is going to be in some serious shit. I mean, the US debt to GDP ratio stands at over 100%. Meaning that if peeps stop buying up that US debt, the American economy could go into an absolute death spiral. Look, ultimately, no one really knows what the impact of a CBDC could be. Maybe in large-scale deployment, the Chinese network will simply fail to deliver the knockout punch that they're hoping for. But the difference is, by innovating, the Chinese get the first right to find out what's true, what works, what isn't, and what doesn't. A method usually pioneered by US leadership, at least historically. So while I know the US is currently dealing with some turmoil back home, once these elections are done and dusted, no matter the outcome, it may be time to take a peek across those sea to shining seas and see what's going on in the rest of the world. But you know what? Prove me wrong. I'm Asher Westropp-Evans, and this is Immutable Opinion.